The difference between a languishing nation and one that will flourish is the recognition that we need equal access to education for both boys and girls.
We really focus on capacity building and professional learning and growth, and that we should model all of those types of things that we expect from our students. And so I think really investing in building leadership, investing in building capacity, supporting people in their work, helping them to grow as learners. We like to think of our administrators as lead learners. So it's I think that really focusing around being a learning organization and building capacity and building leadership, those are things that I think we do well.
There's a lot, actually. We've made probably the biggest thing that we've done better than any other school district is our dual language program. We started a few years ago. We have a high percentage of our students who are Latino, and a high percentage, about 28% of our students are coming in speaking a language other than English. So we created a dual language program a few years ago that rolls into our high schools next year. So within the next couple of years, we'll have most of our students graduating both bilingual and biliterate. So they can read and write in Spanish and English. And one of the blessings of being a large system is that we actually can provide some of those additional supports because of our size and scope. We can be more efficient. So we still have orchestra, we still have band, we still have arts in every grade level. We still have music available at every grade level. We have a fine arts and performance academy at Larkin High School, which my daughter attends and my son attended. And so we do value the arts, we value science. We have a planetarium just a few blocks away. So we have kids that come in and learn more about planets and science, and it's just really cool.
We have a lot of students that come from more affluent types of situations, and many of them do well anyway, but not all. And so to get people to understand what all students means, as opposed to just saying all students, but really meaning it, really believing it, those are things that we're working on. And that's not necessarily easy work.
There was actually a recent study done by Stanford that showed that U46 out of the top largest 200 school districts were 20th in terms of overall growth as a school district from 2009 to 2015. That's incredible. That's incredible growth. We've seen amazing growth. We're not done. I think the things that we're really trying to do better right now is how do we meet the social emotional needs of kids. We have a lot of students that come with heavy needs, a lot of trauma in their lives, substance abuse at home, divorced parents, incarcerated parents, and trying to meet those students' individual needs is probably one of the biggest challenges we have, but that's one we're trying to work on right now.
What happens is we in Elmhurst are like 89% of our money comes from local sources. So we don't get, relatively speaking, a lot of money from the state or federal government. And so when you have a situation like that, then of course you have people that like to go to great pains to explain to you, everything that that you need to know about how to run a school district because they feel that they're paying all these taxes. So there's like 45,000 superintendents in Elmhurst.
So part of the issue with the inequitable funding formula in the state is that if you look statewide, districts in poverty are overtaxing their residents. So in U46, we're about 118% above the state average in terms of a property taxpayer's bill. But we're also poverty stricken. So you're overtaxing the people that can afford it the least. And then if you look at other surrounding districts, they're actually lower than the state average. So part of our broken funding system is that we've overly relied on property taxes.
We have a foundation that gives a fair amount of money to the schools. We have PTAs that raise a ton of money for the schools, more than they need to, more than I wish they would, to be honest with you. I mean, it's really, they don't need to do all that, but they do. It's almost like a contest. And so we do definitely have a lot of opportunities for kids. We've got a ton of electives at the high school. I mean, our course catalog is thicker than the Bible, you know. I mean, it's like going to college. They could take almost anything.
If we can minimize that effect of poverty at the earlier grades, the more effective we're going to be as a school district. But if you ever question the problems related to poverty and the politics of poverty, go to any low-income school district and take a look at the students that are coming through their doors. They're typically single-parent households, severe poverty, a lot of just no means to actually help provide for a child. Right now in U46 we have 700 kids who are homeless. 700 kids. That's larger than most of our elementary schools in terms of numbers. How do you educate a child who doesn't even know when they go home at night where they're going to sleep? I mean, that's the challenges that we're facing, and it's not just in U46, it's across the country. And we have to break that cycle, and education is the only way to actually break that cycle. Right? And so the state and federal government really invest in three main buckets: education, incarceration, and medication. So they fund education, they fund Medicare, Medicaid, and those types of programs, and then they fund to imprison people. And I will always contend that education will eliminate the need for the incarceration and the medication if we invest properly. We have a broken investment model in the country.
I think we have to get out of our isolated type of thinking where I'm the school district and this is the junior college and this is the town's employer. I mean, we have to start creating partnerships and pathways and internships and maximizing resources in more creative ways. And to do that, you have to extend the conversation beyond the school walls. And those things are complicated, but I think you see schools are doing that more and more now. And I think that's another way to try to sort of increase access to opportunities for students that may, if you're in a community where it may be a little bit more difficult for you. I mean, we're trying to do it here.
If you think of, I'm sure you've all seen the stair steps and the kids trying to look over the fence, and you know, if you put a short kid on the tall box, they can see over, and the tall kid naturally can see over. That's equity. But when we try to give everybody the exact same thing, we're just not going to move forward as a school district, as a state, because we know that kids that come in with higher needs need higher resources. That's assuming, I mean, just to give you the perfect example, we have students in our school district, we have classrooms not filled, but we have classrooms with significant students with significant and profound needs. They can't speak, they can't feed themselves, they're on feeding tubes, they're on breathing tubes, and these are students that we serve on a regular daily basis. And if we were to assume that every child deserves the exact same amount of dollars and resources put behind them, then where would those children fit within that puzzle, right?